Let's start with Will Smith. Chris Rock has a history of roasting Jada going back to 2016. Absolutely hilarious. And yeah, I heard about the beef where Jada Pinkett wanted to boycott the Oscars. I believe it was for lack of diversity. What's the other one? Diversity, inclusion, and equity in Hollywood. I believe it was for that. And Chris Rock made a joke. Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Brianna's undergarments. Neither of us were invited. And look, I didn't know about the what is being referred to as cuckery of I mean, I don't even know what these words mean. I did not know of the backstory about Jada Pinkett Smith and The Rock, I think, and Will Smith. I didn't know about this stuff, and I truthfully, I'd rather not know about it. But all of that is secondary backstory to the slap heard round the world. All right, let me just, I'll bring up my meme because I think it's a decent meme of the joke. What's his name? Chris Rock makes a joke about he loves Jada Pinkett Smith. Can't wait to see G.I. Jane 2. I didn't get the joke. I noticed that Jada Pinkett appeared to have a shaved head at the Oscars. I didn't actually make the joke connection between G.I. Jane, which was Demi Moore having a shaved head in that movie. And I certainly did not know that Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from a medical condition which causes for, I believe, patchy loss of hair. And so I think the shaving of the head is to make it even. So I don't know if it's alopecia, but I now know that Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from some medical condition which results in the loss of hair. So Chris Rock making the joke that he can't wait to see Jada Pinkett Smith in G.I. Jane 2 could be offensive to the extent it's a medical condition and not a life choice to shave one's head. Can it result in the husband of the individual who was at first laughing at the joke until I think he looked over and saw that his better half was not happy with the joke, then gets up and slaps Chris Rock in the face. Let me just see where it is. The Academy. Will Smith gave a tutorial on, this is my meme. Will Smith gives a tutorial on how to cover your butt when you get caught laughing at a joke your spouse doesn't find funny. And the joke was this: Jada, I love you. This is verbatim. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. There you have Will Smith laughing and Jada Pinkett Smith not laughing. And there you have, I mean, it's straight up Batman memery. It's straight up Batman slapping Robin, telling him, I don't know how that meme has been used. Now, we're going to drop that out. Let's just have the discussion as to whether or not it was fake or real. There are arguments to be made on both sides, and barring a confirmation, one will never know. Barring a confirmation that the Academy comes out and says this was a staged event, it was a ploy, we knew it was going to happen, we'll never know. It certainly looked staged, and in my humble opinion, before I knew anything, before I heard the uncensored version of Will Smith afterwards saying, "Keep my wife's name out your mother effing mouth," before I heard that part, because it was blocked out on the version that I saw, which I presume came from the American broadcast of the show, it looked fake. You had what looked like Chris Rock leaning into it. It looked like he was leaning forward. Everything from from Will Smith's footwork, it looked like he was tapped. It looked like it was choreographed. Chris Rock leaning in, open hands, smack to the face. It looked scripted. It looked staged. It looked like WWE wrestling. The version that was broadcast was bleeped out, but it was nonetheless broadcast. An act of physical assault was nonetheless broadcast for, I won't say millions to watch. I don't know who's watching this crap anymore, but let's just say at the very least hundreds of thousands. Some people rightly hypothesize that if this were an actual act of unscripted violence, well, instead of just blocking out the audio, there's a time delay for the Oscars. They would have just cut to commercials when that happened. That's a compelling argument. I think it was Red Dawn in the chat who made it as well. That's a compelling argument. If this were an unprovoked, bona fide act of violence, there's enough of a time delay where they would have cut to commercials as opposed to just cut the audio. Okay. Other than looking staged and other than that argument, I don't think this would be staged because, first of all, if it were staged and the Oscars ever comes out and says it was staged, that is, not that there's any brand to preserve with the Oscars, but that is brand ending, brand tarnishing behavior. I mean, that's like, you lose all credibility. You become WWE. I don't. If it ever were found out, they would lose credibility to the point of ever being able to build it up again. I also don't think it's fake because the Oscars came out with a statement which indicates that they're not confirming it was a fake. So share, screen, Chrome tab. Here we go. I'll go to the original vote. The original tweet, which was, the Academy does not condone violence of any form. Tonight we are delighted to celebrate our 94th Academy Award winners who physically assaulted someone on stage. He won the award first. Yes, the vote was already in. We don't condone violence of any form. And we are celebrating one of the Oscar winners, Will Smith, who won the Oscar, who just performed an act of violence on stage. So I don't think it was staged because I don't think the Oscars would go for it. Maybe the Oscars doesn't know. Maybe they're playing willfully blind, whatever. But they came out with this statement, to which I responded sarcastically. The Academy also does not condone the big B word or child abuse, right? The Academy. And for those of you who don't know, this is Roman Polanski. Admittedly, two of those nominations predated his criminal charges that forced him to flee to Europe to avoid arrest and imprisonment in the United States. But the Oscar winner certainly came after Roman Polanski, did among the worst of the things you can do. And it was known, fled the country to avoid being imprisoned here, to avoid prosecution here. They don't condone violence. They're just, did they delete the tweet? No, they didn't. They don't condone violence of any form. Congratulations, Will Smith. Here's your medal. And we don't condone, that either. Congratulations, Roman Polanski. Here's your medal. A lot of people want to draw that analogy with Weinstein. What did I just do here? What's going on here? Hold on. Stop sharing. Okay. I can't bring down the screen here. Sorry, people. I can't seem to. New tab. Why can't I close? Can't seem to bring back up my StreamYard. Some people want to make the false comparison to Harvey Weinstein. Big difference is that Harvey Weinstein's issues, although known to Hollywood beforehand, only became factually known after the awards at issue, contrary to Roman Polanski, who was a known criminal at the time, and they still allowed him to submit movies to the Oscars and win awards despite that. They don't condone violence. Congratulations, Will Smith. We don't condone bad stuff. Here you go. Take your trophy, Polanski. So I don't think it was fake. I also don't think it was fake because it's not the type of thing Will Smith would want to fake and be known for. So that's that. I don't think it was fake anymore, although it certainly looked it. Chris Rock looked physically shook up afterwards, where he was saying, wow, he didn't even know how to continue going. And it's like, we're here to give a documentary. I'm sorry, give an Oscar for a documentary. It could all be good acting, but I don't think the fake side is the less likely of the alternatives. I think it was real. And in which case, what then? Given Wells' rapid change in attitude and the surprise of the face and tone of Chris saying, I won't. Yep. Yeah, he says, keep your mouth. I won't say it again, Chris. Will, just please don't beat me again on stage. So yeah, I don't think it was fake. And I think if it were fake, it would just be too damaging. So it's not fake, which makes it, just as damaging. This is Hollywood is either a freak show of criminals and degenerates, or it's a freak show. What is it? A staged freak show of criminals and degenerates. But Will Smith got up on stage, physically assaulted another colleague, because this is nonetheless a performance. No security to escort him out. He doesn't get escorted out at any point, goes and sits back down, and an individual who was just physically assaulted is supposed to say, yeah, I guess I had that one coming, for making a joke that you found funny for a second until you realized your wife didn't find it funny. And now you have to go out and pick on someone who's quite clearly smaller than you, because I doubt very much Will Smith would have done that to The Rock, but maybe only Chris Rock. Well, who cares? Here's the thing. So this is another one. Who cares? This is a distraction. There's other things to talk about. Okay. Who cares? First of all, a lot of people care because this is emblematic of Hollywood degeneracy. There. It may be trivial, it may be trite, it may be stupid, but it's emblematic of Hollywood degeneracy. And it's the perfect example of why that place and those people need to be avoided pretty much for one's own spiritual clarity, spiritual cleansing. It's a distraction. First of all, it is a distraction. No, because we can talk about more than one thing in a day, as we will. We're going to go from the idiocy of Hollywood to the political insanity of Canada. Other people saying it was staged to bolster Oscar ratings. My theory about that is no, because people are only finding out about this today. Nobody's going to go retroactively watch the Oscars, but for this 30-second clip, which they now know they can get anywhere. They don't need to go watch it. It cannot retroactively increase ratings, and it's not going to make me want to watch it next year because it's stupid. It's garbage. I would probably have forgotten about this by next year, as will everyone else. No one's going to watch the Oscars next year saying, what can be more? What's something more outrageous is going to happen? No. So the idea of faking it for Oscar ratings, which are at record lows now, also doesn't make sense because it doesn't increase ratings from yesterday, and it sure as heck is not going to increase ratings for next year, in my humble opinion. But we can still talk about other important things after getting through the stupid stuff, as we will. We're lucky to have Chris Rock with us today. Imagine if he'd made a joke. Sorry, I did not read that one before I brought it up, but there are lots of jokes out there. And especially, there's the joke there, but especially in the backdrop of that, where you have Hollywood not ostensibly tolerating an act of violence. They are implicitly, if not explicitly, tolerating it, condoning it. This is what work environment is like in Hollywood. Well, go back to my analysis of Alec Baldwin, the Alec Baldwin shooting and Helena Hutchins shooting. Go back to my analysis of that, whereas my theory, and I'm still standing by my interpretation at the time, was, after I dissected it thoroughly, that I think Alec Baldwin thought he was holding a prop gun, pulled the trigger on purpose, thinking it would make a loud pop that would scare people. Maybe it would maybe it would instill some fear into Helena Hutchins, who, in my opinion, might have been instructing him a little more than grade A actor Alec Baldwin wants from a director of photography. He pulled the trigger of what he thought was a prop gun to scare people into submission. And lo and behold, by some fluke freak accident, it had a real bullet in it. But now we know that Hollywood supports, A-list actors' outbursts. We now know that Hollywood tolerates, supports, condones, and I'll even say promotes outbursts, violent outbursts by top Hollywood actors. And yes, maybe I'm giving Alec Baldwin a little too much credit. Maybe he's not a top Hollywood actor. But we now know that Hollywood promotes it. Hollywood condones it. And Hollywood is not only not condemning it, Will Smith has still got that shiny award, and he went out partying mighty happily after physically assaulting another human being because of a joke about his wife's shaved head. So just that is the Hollywood environment. Violent outbursts will be tolerated. If it had been Dave Chappelle, the Jada jokes would have gone on past me. So who was it that said oh geez, I want to give credit. It was on Twitter. A comedian said that Chris Rock has to do an entire 2-hour special roast dedicated not just to Will Smith, but to the entire family. It's not a bad idea. Are we talking about Will Smith or Will Simp? Okay, another word that I didn't know what it meant until I had to look it up. So that's it. It's emblematic of Hollywood. It's a cesspool of degeneracy, and I have great difficulty now even going back to watch the movies that I loved growing up, except for the ones that actually call out Hollywood for being a cesspool of degeneracy. True Romance is one of them. Pulp Fiction is another. Yep. Okay. All right. So that's that. So those are all the angles. My bottom line takeaway: it was not staged. It was not done on purpose to bolster Oscar ratings, because I don't think it would do that. It's a distraction. Look, yeah, we're gonna talk about this for a bit, and then we're gonna get onto the actual meaningful rubbish that's going on in the world. Will Smith. I did not know the backstory about his marriage. I don't think, ugh, whatever. And that's all I think we have to say about that. She said less than zero. Someone put that joke out there already. Okay, now let's get off the crap and let's get into Tim Pool.